we're almost there at the Unnamed Classic Car Club show. Once a month this happens, I suspect. It's a big show. Being a bank holiday weekend, we're expecting a lot of numbers, and I am heading there to try and beat the traffic, because I'm expecting a lot of people, and I'm turning up about 45 minutes early, so that should be beneficial. But it's been fantastic to give Beatrix a blast down these roads again, testing all the new components that I've fitted, and I'd like to report that I have not lost a wheel today, which is all good. That's quite beneficial, that. Let's pulling through this gate. I'm going to go through the main car park, and let's go to the back. And already we have people that have arrived. Oh, yum yum yum. We have got some yummy cars to see today. Presume. A minute. Just go. Oh, okay, right. I've just been talking to quite a few people, and yeah, as I say, we made it in Project Beatrix today, and as you can see, it's quite busy. It has filled up over the last couple of hours quite quickly. So yeah, once again, we have Project Beatrix. I'm going to leave the bonnet open today, but we have completely made it, and I won't show you too much because I might give away some spoilers. Future episodes, guys. Now, right next to it is a car owned by Martin, who is very well known to me, and he has a very nice collection of classics, including this Rover 45 IXS. Now, this was the 45 that was parked right next to me at the Pride of Longbridge, but somehow I lost the footage, so I'm going to repeat myself all over again. This is an IXS, and it is a CVT, and Martin is a member of the CVT register, and quite frankly, this is a cracking car. The paintwork is actually much better than what Martin told me over Facebook. He was quite honest about some of the bits and pieces of this car. He has just tightened up his rear bumpers, it looks like, because the last time I saw this, I gave him some bumper brackets, and it looks like things have been tightened up a little bit more, which is fantastic. But as I say, you've got the Mark 145 with the number plate in the boot rather than the actual bumper, and obviously we've got a lock as well, which is always useful, and a really nice spoiler which you got on the Mark 1s, whereas on the obviously my one, it's sort of a more of a subtle lip. I mean, I know which one you guys would prefer. I don't prefer that as much as this. I think the touches of chrome is really classy. The one thing that has been added that I didn't actually notice before is this rubber strip. Unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know who added these, but they've been glued on additionally later on. Wheels are really nice actually, and decent proxy tyres. As I say, this is a really nice appointed interior with the Rover 75 seats as you got in a Mark 1, much more comfortable. So yeah, and I really like this. And one thing I'm going to show you is the windscreen. If you can see this on camera, we have the green tinted windscreen, which will be fitted to Beatrix, because what I've discovered is the crack has just somewhat expanded with the heat. Unfortunately, it will continue going up the screen until it reaches the top of the screen. But yes, Beatrix is in full health, apart from one particular thing which I noticed. We do seem to have a bit of condensation in that lamp. So me washing the car the other day certainly induced this. I'm not happy because they're brand new, and that's really poor. But then again, the quality is really poor. But anyway, let's see what we have elsewhere. But honestly, lovely to see Martin's IXS, and we'll be featuring more of this car very soon. Next door to it, we have a lovely Capri, Mark 1 Capri. That's had a complete rebuild by the look of it. that is exceptionally clean, and I love the blue, and all these blue silicone hoses with the paint. And obviously that looks like really good cooling. Obviously a silver fan makes all good for appearance, but the actual heat, the actual radiator, I believe, could be potentially triple cooled radiator. And then right next to it we have a Capri injection. Wow, nice deep dark black colour with the red striping and piping along the sides, with Recaro seats. MGB, indeed, MGB. Really nice MGB. Excuse the music. I cannot take that music out of this video, so I really don't care about the copyright stuff because it cannot be helped. Very nice indeed. Wow. And the original leather interior, showing all its cracks and everything. Really nice to see. In fact, look at that. Look at those beautiful dials. Oh, now I'm gonna get this. Am I gonna get this right? Astra G, I believe. You do not see many of these cars up, and he's actually just started his rat rod. Wow. Okay. As I was saying about the seats, wow, classy. I think the Astra G is probably the last of the great Astras for me. I don't really count any Astras after this being known in a similar way. It is in fact an Opel. I do apologise for that mistake. It is an Opel or a Vauxhall. No, it's a Vauxhall with an Opel engine rocker cover. Presumably it looks better than the Vauxhall ones, possibly. Lovely battery cover. We'll see. You got your open cone filter there, maybe for some horses. It's an on and 04 plate, so that's quite a late one. We have a Saab 93. It is for sale. Look at that. See, this is what I say about Saabs from this time. Even though they were built on GM platforms, it's an automatic as well. Yeah, it's an automatic. How nice is that, with a sport button on the gear lever? But honestly, you can see this sort of aeroplane cockpit sort of interior. Really, really pure Saab there, and you know what, it gives a sense of presence to what otherwise would have been quite a plain and ordinary car. Headlamp washers, very nice to see, on an 02 plate. Volvo. Whoa, I can't remember which one this is now. Is it in that? I don't want to speak too soon. It's a V70 BSR all-wheel drive. Okay, I bet this goes like stink. It looks like it's come a long way. Automatic with some tangy orange interior. Woo. Okay, that's a nice spot. I've never seen these type of headlights before, these aftermarket ones, because they look really cool. So just something different that stood out. I had to look twice for a second. I thought the glass had broken. Literally, it looks like the glass is broken from a distance. We have an MGTF. It's rather nice green colour, lovely vents, and quite a cheap looking fabric. I've got to say, these seats do look very cheap in terms of the fabric. They definitely did a lot of cost cutting later on. Manual gearbox, and yeah, I quite like the interior, although I think the dashboards are a little bit on the cheap side with these cars. I really do. I don't think the dashboards do the exterior of the car justice. We have a Mini 1D 62 plate. I'm not going to talk too much because I don't really like these as much. And next door we have a Rover 100 Knightsbridge. Now I will tell my viewers now, I am on the lookout for a Metro. Spoilers about that, but I would like one. I think I need to delve into it, because since I'm such an expert on Mark 1 Focuses and rust that comes with it, I should just buy one of these because I'm just at home. But this one, with the later steering wheel, they didn't really change too much on the later ones, but you know what, decent seats out of the R8. They put the R8 seats in the Metro, something they've done on a few times previously. I do like the look at the front. I think they did a very, very good job with this car, and this one is exceptionally tidy. I definitely think the filler being there as opposed to being down there on the Austin Metros was a significant improvement. And we have a sunroof. Then we have something that I am not particularly a fan of, but still, each their own. Someone really likes it. Oh, Prefect! Ford Prefect. Nice. Oh my God. He's had the seats completely redone, and he's done, that is so cool. Blue and then beige to match the actual blue exterior. Oh my God. To match the doors as well. He's had the door cards done as well. They're not the originals. That is just... Oh, Peugeot 205 GTI with the back window open. Can't have that these days, health and safety and all that. Pepper pots, it's what you want on these. These just are fun on wheels. Fun. Some people say these are overrated for what they are, but honestly, if you compare them to the competition, nothing really compares. They just got the styling spot on. I think this is the best colour of orange that you could possibly get on an MGB. That's cracking on an L plate. So 72, correct me, I'm a bit fuzzy with the dates actually. 72, 73, can't remember which one now. But here we go. We've got the holes for the slatted in the wheel, in the steering wheel. So I think these steering wheels were the more common one. It's the ones where you haven't got the cutout. That's quite a rare steering wheel, and they only supplied them for about a year of production. But yeah, typically MGB, nice and low down. Rose styles. Vauxhall Viva. Okay, this is quite a rarity now, and probably an improvement on what's been coming out in the last few years from Vauxhall. I'm only joking, but they shouldn't have used the Viva name to describe their current car. Very honest and very original. Something that has really caught my eye, and here's a Ford console, the original Ford console with yep, nice seat covers and no carpets, but a bit of rust. That's good to keep on touch of the rust. You can actually just remove the carpets just to make sure that you have still got a floor underneath. That's a good idea. XJS, Jaguar XJS. It's rather nice, sort of more red than burgundy, but it definitely suits it. Ooh. Oh, this is a Nissan 300 ZX Z32 twin turbo. Yes. Do I know a lot? No, I just read it on there. Don't worry, I'm not an expert. Me, a lot of information there. So it was only available in 2+2 Targa form in the UK. So you've got this sort of split window up there. They put a lot of fabrics on the door cards, and it curves. There's fabric on literally a fabric glove box. How cool is that? In that sense, MGA. It's been to quite a few classic shows with the B series engine, twin carbs, with Kona. Well, the I should say Piper Cross. I should say. Wow. Very honest. Huh? Look at that. You've only got a couple of fuses there. And we go round here, and okay, the dashboard is the same colour as the exterior of the car. That's just so joined up. We have an Escort XR3 here with ribbed lights and spoiler and Owners Club sticker and very, very bright paintwork indeed, and with suitably red striped seats. And obviously it's nice to protect those seats. I should do the same with my car. Austin Mini Cooper. Ooh. Then we've got another one by the sign of it. Wow, that's wicked. I love the fact that the block is painted red. You can see exactly everything you need to see. And it's had a couple of modifications. That's a modern coil pack, so it obviously has a few more things added on. Obviously, instead of a distributor, someone's added that in, so that's quite a nice job. But it's still got a carb with some sort of pressure gauge, so I'm not sure what is quite going on there. Oh, we have a Ford of the old school, and it's definitely been altered in many different ways here, but these sideboards just look, the running boards just look so much like fun. And obviously we have the VW Polo that we saw the last time, so it's a Mark II facelift. The Japanese Mini, of which we saw last time, the imported Japanese Mini automatic. And oh my goodness, please tell me what this is, because I haven't got a clue. It is a Daimler with this, I can just smell the leather. I mean, look how plush that dashboard is. It's just completely padded. It is a Dart. It's getting really busy here, and I just want to show you this because these are as rare as hen's teeth these days, and it is really nice to see one. Vauxhall Astra SRI. When was the last time on an E-Reg? When was the last time you saw one of them? This is an amazing show. We've got some big Americans here, Chevrolet with, goodness me, some sort of huge lift. Have you seen the size of that chassis? I thought it had some sort of lift kit on it. Usually they do. That's incredibly 90s going on there. Next we have a Triumph Dolly Sprint in yellow with some typically mismatched panels. That's okay, it probably come out the factory like that. Yeah, who doesn't like a Dolly Sprint? They just were built and styled and go in every sense equally. Morris 8. There's so many cars I've got to see, guys, and I'm kind of conscious here that I don't want to miss anything out, but the truth is there's so much to see. Oh, we have a 2CV with appropriately patterned seats. We have another 2CV just here. Nice colour. And again, equally striped seats. Gorgeous. There's something going on there. Now, I don't mean to miss half of these here, because we do have a Rover Streetwise next to a Mark 4 or Mark 5. Ooh, I've got to be careful about this. We got this Rover Streetwise here on a 54 plate, so it's quite a late one, this. And as usual, I'm going to have to stick one of these on because, quite frankly, it'd be sad for me to not promote my channel with the later dashboard, which people don't really prefer. But if you look at the trim around the gear lever, that is exactly the same sort of styling cue as you get in a Mini R50 53. Exactly the same. So there's definitely some things they definitely tweaked for the Mini R50 and kept kind of the same. I do love these. These were way ahead of their time. Ooh, VW Scirocco, which is what it is. It is indeed. Now I'm going to skip to this Ford over here because we have to see a Ford. Not the most unbelievably great cars to drive from what I've been told, but still, it's really nice to see one because I can't remember the last time I saw one of these. Cortina. It's a 2-litre injection, so the Pinto, with the larger rear lamps. and it has that sort of silver finish, sort of esque to the dashboard. Much fatter steering wheel, and looks like really supportive seats in there. Mark 1 Cortina. Oh yes, so 60s, early 60s. Watchdog security system. Is that the security system where you remove the points? Might be. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice. It's an automatic with a column, with the actual column gear lever. Genuine survivor. 6,000 owners from new, never painted, never welded. That's remarkable. That is so nice to see. 1965, and it's never been welded, and it's completely original. I did not expect to see one of these here. I don't know why I didn't, because it's, you know, it's a classic car show. A 2200 TC in Lunar Grey. What a colour. What an absolute cracking colour this is. It's a colour that has been sort of chopped and changed down the years by a lot of people. A lot of people have resprayed P6s in Monza red and nicer colours, inverted colours. A lot of these Lunar Grey cars have been resprayed over. Let's say it's got exactly the same issue that mine have. They all tend to sort of go at the bottom here. But ideally, and they tend to go there because that's kind of double skinned a little bit, but overall it's nice to see he's had the window rubbers done. Aftermarket radio, but the box pleated leather seats as you got on the later ones, the post 1973 cars, more 74, with a much more sort of cheaper sort of Formica wood finish here. And obviously the speedos that you would normally have got on the V8, they got rid of the strip speedo by this stage, and a Webasto sunroof. And I'm afraid my P6 days will be coming back soon, I hope, because this is something that has been somewhat of a it will be revisited. It's just one of those things that you start about doing, and yes, typically they do tend to rot at the bottom there, as always. And oh yes, this has gone exactly the same way mine used to go. But you know, I'm pointing out all the bad bits. Getting these door rubbers is very difficult as well, but you know what, it's lovely to see, and it's lovely to see this colour, and the paintwork is actually extremely good, ignoring the little niggles. We have a rubber bumper MGB on a later N-Reg, so pretty much early on in the rubber bumper time. The GT version, which is always a bit more usable, but they're not usable because the only people that can fit in the 2+2 seat are children. I'm just walking back to the car for some snacks, and this another Rover Metro has turned up. Wow. Okay, R-Reg, nice to see. Leather seats. Oh, is this the GCI model by any chance? It is a manual gearbox, 5-door. No, it's an SLI. I got it kind of wrong there, but I'm assuming, well, that's some crap rubber there. I'm pretty assuming those filler flaps are very different on the 5 doors to the 3 doors. I'm not quite sure why that is, because that looks like a filler flap off the old Austin Metro. But these seats, I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't have got those seats from standard. So I'm assuming that this is a GCI, or unless it's an SLI that's had an optional extra fitted. But once again, we must leave him a calling card. Oh, he's just about started it. Oh goodness me, I'm intoxicated with the fumes here. Really nice Capri driving out just here. A 1.6 G LS, sorry, not GLS, meant to say 1.6 LS. This is the smell of my childhood. And honestly, you know, kids of today are never going to really smell this kind of atmosphere, but oh. Well, the Americans are moving off now. Quite a few people are actually starting to leave, so I might as well just go down here and just view this. I mean, heck, you could fit a few people underneath that. Fit some people in it as well. That's the typical, the American culture is that you can have a pickup truck. That's the problem. I mean, no one would dare take your load in America. You just get a gun and shoot them. But in the UK, we can't really do that, and it's kind of illegal. MGB rubber bumper, very, very nice indeed. Morris Minor, very nice to see, with its ripped seats, which is, they look completely original to me. Yep, Triumph 2000 Mark II. Automatic as well. Oh, the seats. That is a very that's a very striking colour for seats. Very light blue seats, but very, very comfortable. I think they're much more comfortable than the P6 seats, and I don't know why, but they just do look really more comfortable. Cracking car. I just wouldn't have one over a P6. I really wouldn't. I think the P6 wins on a lot of areas, but this car wins in some other areas as well. Namely the straight 6 instead of a straight 4. The rear suspension is independent, fully independent I suspect, and some of the interior materials were actually probably even better than a P6. Range Rover leaving. Have a Metro over there, and we have a Mini 30 and a Rover R8 on an M-Reg with the usual lack appeal. But I've got a feeling, judging by the bonnet groove here, it's a T-Series, which would mean that this is a 220 GSR. I was going to guess 220, but I didn't want to do it on camera just in case. But lack appeal going on here as usual, but really nice to see. And I do like this sort of weird sort of the back. You've got the back window that sort of curves around into this other piece of glass here. Then you've got this small window that opens out. The seats are typically what you get on this Air of Rose. It's sort of like purpley effect seats. I quite like it, and I think the owners changed some of the dials over to white ones. And your aerial goes in the corner because there's just nowhere for it to go with the sunroof, and some rust in some very awkward spots, but again, really nice to see. I'm not kind of sure what sort of colour this is, but whatever colour it is, it kind of works, and it's been done very tastefully. It has been completely resprayed, this Beetle. Calibra MGB. Have an SD1 over here. We'll come to that in a second. We have a Mini leaving and an MG Metro. Always nice to see a Metro. I just love the graphics. The graphics are just pure 80s, aren't they? For whatever faults you can aim at an Austin Metro or an MG Metro, the graphics, particularly on the MG versions, were just top notch. I think every single flaw was kind of overcome with the sort of the style and the paintwork and the actual trim that you got with those sort of cars. SD1 Vitesse. It's actually been rubbed in there actually. On these later ones with the non-leather seats, they don't look as inviting. I think the cost cutting certainly panned into its own, but as a design, fantastic car. I think the SD1 is an example of a car that was designed exceptionally well and was extremely modern for 1978, something like this. It's just unbelievable. Styled to look like a Ferrari Daytona, but the execution was pretty much the contrast of the design. It was literally that bad, and it's a shame that now they literally exist in a few hundred, which actually I think is quite generous considering all the stories I've heard about someone's tale of an SD1. But then again, no worse than some of the Ford stuff that was coming out at the time. Oh goodness me, I tell you what, just been at the back here, I think this Land Rover, I just had to think for a second, was this here before? Has it been left here? Because it looks very at home in this field. And this is the kind of patina that people just crave over. I mean, don't mess with this. And I think the owner understands that you shouldn't be messing with this. Really, honestly, it should be kept as it is. You've got your little sliding window here. Just move that across without breaking it. There we go. Look at that. And you've got your vents there. You've got your opening fresh air. That's your fresh air, that is. And it's probably very good fresh air. And your individual wiper motors that you have to turn on. Unbelievable. You've got this big back window here. And I think these are very difficult to get hold of. These are very difficult to get hold of from what I've been told as well. And I presume that as well. But oh, I love the patina of the paint just scraping off here. It's, I say, these don't really corrode because they're aluminium, but they just they get scabby with the paint. And paintwork in aluminium, I don't think manufacturers kind of understood it. Land Rover didn't really understand it, but at the end of the day, these were built to be workhorses, many of which would look like this only after a few years. Now, this P6 I spotted a while ago when it came in. It is on an R reg, and I will tell you, it is a VIP model. Now, there were a few different colours you can get this in, but I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, the colour of this P6, which is a superb colour, absolutely superb, it's a platinum. I'm pretty sure it's a platinum colour. That's what it was known as. It is an automatic V8, and this is one of the last ones to be built. And the leather has all been redone. I can tell the leather actually looks really new and supple and a little bit more different to what you'd have got on the earlier versions. But it's not box pleat, and it should be box pleat. So someone has actually replaced the original interior with the non-box pleat, the earlier leather, and recovered it. I mean, it's all been redone. Even the partial shelf at the back has been redone. It just looks $1 million in there. And the rest of the car looks fantastic. I mean, I'll come back to the back here. Yeah, it's just $1 million. Even the chrome work has been redone. I will say though, the only thing about re-chroming, unfortunately, due to EU regulations and health and safety, re-chroming is nowhere near as good as what it used to be. It really isn't. It's not as rust resistant whatsoever, and it is quite common for owners to complain of pitting again only after a few years. Just needs a new light lens, and that's it. But yes, oh, the window is actually open, so I can stick my camera inside. I mean, yeah, this is me. This is really, really me. And we all know what one of these are. Yes, it is the lovely Sierra. Now, before I say what model this is, it does look rather upmarket with these really nice seats. And the radio console fascia angled away from the passenger towards the driver, which I find quite interesting. And got this lovely spoiler at the back here. And it is just the Sierra Sapphire 1.8 LX. Now, I'm not sure where this car comes in the hierarchy. I'm not really familiar with pre-90s Fords, but I'm assuming that the LX was kind of, you know, not the bottom, sort of towards the middle of the range. But the Sapphire, what was that about? Obviously you had the Sapphire Cosworth, but what's this got that makes it a bit more special over just a normal 1.8 LX? So if somebody could tell me in the comments. We have some obviously standard Ford rust, and yeah, but overall it is really nice to see. Got Kiko for the radio, protected by an alarm. Well, I've got to be honest with you, with these, they were easy to nick anyway. We have an Austin A40 Farina with speckles, which means that this panel or this car may have been outside for quite a few years. Judging by the rest of the panels, I suspect it was. This is just something that happens over a long period of time. Some of these panels are really good. The interior is excellent. I love the interior of these. And I thought for a second, the way the bumper curves in, it's like they've had a pre-accident going on, but it's not. and it is the only Ford Focus Mark 1 here, and I'm glad that I can actually see one. And it is an ST170 by a glance. It's an 04 plate, so kind of late on really, with the usual unique fog lamps that you only get on an ST170, the finer mesh grille at the bottom instead of the slatted ones you get on the others. The headlights are very clean, and obviously he's had the calipers painted, the wheels have been painted black. These are very hard to get hold of as stickers now, they all kind of fade, but overall pretty good. And if we come to the back, I believe that there may have been some modding done to this. It looks a slight bit lower than usual. The exhaust has definitely been changed. The window is being blacked out a little bit, but overall really nice. And the paintwork is typically, this is Panther black, and it does need a little bit of a polish up, but overall pretty good. We've got some yellow stuff going on. I think everyone who's modded Mark 1s has done this. I've done this, and it is kind of the done deal. These are the half leather seats which you got as standard in the ST170, unless you order Recaros. And I suspect these blacked out side lights, I've got a feeling they're the Audi style ones that sort of move forwards and backwards. I don't like them, but still, each their own. And it's really nice to see it here, because I'll be bringing my Focus soon to this show, definitely. And really honestly, we've got some little surprises here. We've got a Chevrolet parked up down here. We've got a mini Sprite on a K-Reg, which is kind of, you know, the 1275 is kind of low spec, but a lot of people like this one, leather seats, kind of a slightly different dashboard, mini lights as well. It wouldn't have come with any of this. Wouldn't have come with any of this. A lot of people with mini cities and mini Sprites of the 80s kind of tart them up because they are kind of poverty spec, and I don't believe you may have got this on the Sprite. I think it was a City you got the plastic ones, and the plastic bumpers apparently are dreadful to get hold of. We have an Austin Mini Moke. How fun is this? This looks so fun, it's untrue. Absolutely cracking. This looks like a whirlwind of fun to travel here. Definitely on a hot day like today, this is exactly what you want to see. Take your mates out and have a good time, and blimey neck, you've still got some decent carrying space in the back here. I'm just going through all these Mustang with nice bonnet cables, just a quick release, and this is for sale. Grease, whatever, Dodge, interesting. Dodge Polara, very nice indeed. We've got quite a few cars leaving, as we can see at the moment.
About 3 owners ago.
Wow, we have an Austin 1100 Mark II, and as proudly displayed, automatic. And if we come in here, oh yes, we have the lovely AP 4-speed gearbox, and that handle has actually been changed because I think it would have been chrome originally. So little dinky little gear lever there. I mean, literally, I don't need my whole hand. And no wonder they put this knob on the top, because you could probably move it with 2 fingers. That's cracking, that is. And yeah, bit obvious at the I won't look too much. But I love the dashboard on these, and that strip speedo for me is just epic. That's exactly what you want. I love the heater vents as well. Lovely steering wheel, absolutely gorgeous. And the door shut. That's the way a car door should shut. Cracking little A-series engine we have under the bonnet, with the AP gearbox right at the bottom, as all end-on gearboxes from this time. And we're just going to start up the car and listen to it come into life in the usual A-series manner. Little fan going in its cowl in there, absolutely gorgeous. That is absolutely brilliant. Purring, no tappet noise whatsoever. It seems to be just struggling a tad And Martin's kind of getting his hands dirty again because it's just running a tiny bit off. We think the mixture might be slightly on the lean side. I think I do, but then I don't know as much about A series engines. It's just fractionally off. The tip here is there is a piston on the other end of the carburettor. You push the piston, you push the little piston in, it rises, the actual piston in the carb rises. If the car stutters a little bit, the mixture's too lean. If the engine revs go off the face of the earth, the mixture is too rich. That's the idea. So have you found the pin? There should be a pin. So if you push it in a fraction of an inch.
I see it.
Can't even.
Is there even a pin?
I can't actually see it on this side. Oh dear me, nice toolkit.
Yes.
Very nice. And I love these. Sorry, I'm getting distracted.
Go for it.
Now these are made in West Germany, potentially.
Yes.
Yeah. I had exactly the same reversible. Well, actually, there's two of them. Mine was actually reversible in. I think it's a P6 toolkit. So you'd sort of take out the blade and put it in the other way. Absolutely cracking. And that's your brake bleed nipple spanner.
Right. I don't even know if this has got a lifting pin. I can't see it.
Not sure. Hold on. Hey. What we have here as well is, wow. You see, this is the sort of stuff you need to keep with the car, and it's something that's very often not kept with the car. This is the original jack. See, I'm not going to begin to know how that actually works by look and feel of it. So presumably it stands, okay, and then you basically aim that on the jacking point.
A double acting ratchet.
Yeah.
It's quite a good one actually, isn't it?
That's nice actually. That looks.
Well, that could be the standard jack shooting roast.
Yeah. The thread is actually, that's high quality.
Then
That
mine was
is.
just standard old winder on mine on the back. You know the.
No, that's definitely the right one because you know the shape that goes.
That is
into the
high
cylinder.
quality. Yes, it is.
Jacking point.
Yeah.
And then obviously your usual box spanner for your wheel nuts. Highly effective.
Then mine just
Does
had
the
a
job.
standard- Mine just had a standard wheel brace and I mean
possibly a
all
plug
original
spanner as
because
well?
it was an old
Spark plug
one I
spanner
owned
on the
from
other
you,
end
you know,
as well.
and
So
they changed
double
it.
sided. So presume it's two different sizes.
Yes.
You got
Maybe
that
then
size.
it's all done as
Perfect.
the years went on.
Absolutely cracking. And obviously basic tool set. I think this is possibly all you would need to keep in the boot of a car this age.
Nothing else.
Literally, there's not much that this can't. Now, just before the owner goes, I just want to show you this Ford Fiesta Mark III, a very late Mark III. It is on a P-Reg, which is basically the run-out model. The Mark IV had already come out by this time, and this is an absolutely stunning car. I mean, if I just show you underneath, I mean, it's quite dry in here. There's absolutely no scabbiness whatsoever. You've got holes there in the side. Now I believe that is because somebody tried to modify it with a body kit, and obviously the owner, wanting originality, has thrown it in the bin, and quite rightly, because quite frankly original unmolested versions of the Mark III is such a rarity these days. I mean, the interior, the seats just look so inviting. These really lovely cloth seats. I've been told they are really comfortable, and obviously you add little additions like the Mark IV steering wheel. So they started to add a few little bits from the newer cars in, but still these dashboards look really well put together, really well built. And obviously you got things like the addition of a sunroof. Now this is the classic model, so I assume they called it the classic because it was the run out model as such. But as we go in here, thank you sir, these are really comfortable seats. I mean, look at that, the quality of that has survived really well. Usually the fabrics don't tend to fare well on these cars. And if I just move this seat forward, the amount of space you get in the back is just untrue. I don't like the plastic backs to the seat, but ideally, honestly, it's very familiar to anyone who's owned a Ford of the 90s, noughties, that Ford smell. and it's actually quite similar to my Mark 1 Focus, but again, lovely door cards with these lovely pieces of fabric. Again, a very 90s touch. That is just absolutely cracking. And there we've got the original Ford radio with a cassette player, slide vents, venting, heating controls, very clunky. Radio clock over there, and a very nice glove compartment, honestly. And the sunroof makes a huge amount of difference to this car, give it a bit more light into this car. It's just so nice to see this, really nice to see. And it's just nice to see one without any massive forms of corrosion. And I'll show you underneath here. It's just solid, absolutely solid. So there you go. What a lovely. Now we just opened the bonnet to reveal the Ford, what everybody knows as the Ford Kent engine, what was known as the Valencia engine later on, the high compression swirl engine, a pronunciation issue there, with the usual rocker cover leaks, but very used and very accessible. As you can see with this gearbox here, there's just a gearbox, there's nothing sitting on top of it. Doing a clutch on this must be incredibly easy. And over here we've got the spare toolkit still intact, which is something you actually don't really find. But there's something else really interesting is the scuttle. There's no scabbiness, it's just clean, totally clean, no scabbiness whatsoever, with all your VIN numbers there and just the usual little bits of muck around here, but very, very honest. And it looks like there's been some sort of rust protection under there, little remnants of wax all down on the chassis legs, everything to help preserve the engine bay. Now apparently this does not rattle like most of these engines. Get a bit tappy at the top end. Oh, good grief. That has to be one of the quietest Kent engines I have ever heard. Usually their tappets are like jumping out the engine. This is just silent. And I mean, you can ideally adjust the tappets if you wanted to, adjust the valve clearances, which does kind of help. And changing the oil will probably have a good effect, but that is incredibly smooth. Well, this Austin Allegro two-door has just pulled in, and wow, we've got the two-tone going on here. Now, if we come round to the front, we've got the earlier front, so it is on a P-Reg, 1975 or 1976? 1975, perfect. Wow. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, very endearing indeed. Oh, that is absolutely cracking. Oh, brown, 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 brown. So how many shades of brown can you get? With oh, it's got the Van den Pla Metro steering wheel on it. That's a really nice touch. Now, I'm trying not to give something away, but someone very, very nice with, I'm assuming the Streetwise, has given me a power steering label, which would not have been fitted to a Mark II. And I'm going to thank him for that and keep it on, because that is a really nice present. Thank you very much. Whoever you are, please put in the comments if this was you. I assume that you had the Streetwise, sir. Honestly, it's been absolutely fabulous, and most of the cars have disappeared. I've been talking to quite a few of the owners for some time, including Martin himself, who you're going to see in a future episode. Now, before I get accused, I have actually spoken to the owner just now. Before I get accused of actually not understanding Fords, The Sierra is the booted version as opposed to the hatchback version. That is the only difference we have here. Again, I'm not as familiar with 80s Fords, so forgive me for that one, but I've now confirmed exactly why it's called a Sierra. The Sapphire is the booted version. Now apparently this spoiler was an added option, and an option that the original owner actually took up. It is actually an RS spoiler, but they were a listed option for quite a few years, but the owner took it up, and a really nice addition. Secondly, the mud flaps, these were an optional extra that the owner took up. Absolutely cracking. And the paintwork itself, you know, magenta, which is the paint. I had the name on the top of my tongue before, and it is just such a lovely deep shine. Would you believe that this car, despite you've seen the condition of it on this side, this car is used daily. It has not been garaged since 1990, and the only work the owners had done is a seal job just here, and obviously we've got some scabbiness here and there, and obviously some moss around the sunroof, but look how solid it is. There's absolutely nothing. This car is in daily use. Obviously the owner's put a CD player in just for the time being, but he has the facility to put the original radio back in to listen to some retro stuff. And at the end of the day, that is what we like to see on this channel, things that can be reversed if need be. But it's just a stunning example. These hubcaps, like most of you probably noticed, they are not the originals. The owner has the originals, but he's currently refurbing them a little bit. But this is in daily use, would you believe it? And I can show you the underside. Just bend down under here, and I mean, this is a Ford from the 80s, and we just got scabs. Just scabs. So, unbelievably so, I've learned something new today. So the Sapphire was the booted version, which I don't think you would have often seen this type. I mean, mostly it'd be the hatchback examples, which what the Sierra was originally designed to be, but I suspect it was to basically sell on a greater level. Obviously, you had the Ford Escort Orion, which is the booted version of the Escort. Well, I shouldn't say Ford Escort Orion, just Ford Orion. But you had that, and then I think Ford identified that they didn't really have anything on the Sierra front apart from the Sierra Cosworth, which was the basically 5-door version, well, the 4-door version of what was an amazing car. So, you know, the everyday family man could have a Cosworth to his name. But no, this has got the 1.8 CVH engine, which, you know, it's you know, oily, but it runs fine. They can be a bit coarse, the CVH engine. They're not the best of engines, but this one is certainly doing its miles to this day, which is just so nice to see. I mean, you know, there's a bit of scabbiness on the arches, but for an 80s Ford that is still used in daily use, is just incredible. And I can't believe the paintwork is in this condition. So slight correction on my last video, but I thought I needed to correct this, just for the benefit that, you know, I am into Fords, but more or less 90s noughties, or early noughties I should say. This sort of stuff really is a bit before my time. So I'm glad I've corrected myself there, and the owner has definitely corrected me. But this is an absolute stunning car, and I think potentially my pick of the day, and there've been a few cars like this. As most people have gone now, I've just been speaking with a few people, and I think that's a great place to end the show with this Sierra Sapphire 1.8 LX. Excuse me, before my hay fever kicks in, I'm going to end this, what has been a really nice car show to come to. I have given more attention to Fords and a few of the Rovers today, and a few of the Austins as well. And this is what floats my boat. British cars, more or less. Cars that really I can relate to as a child. Nostalgia is a big thing with 80s, 90s stuff, and it is certainly kicking in. And I've just had most wonderful time ever, and getting to know a few more people, and that's what it's all about at car shows. So I hope that this has been a very good episode, and that I have not made many mistakes this time around, because some people get quite offended when I make mistakes. So you know, at the end of the day, it's just a harmless bit of fun. If I get something wrong, please put in the comments and put it nicely. No insulting comments, please, and we're all friends. Anyway, you take care, guys. I will see you very soon.